Get ready, get set, and hold on. Good morning. It's time for the Mouth of Matuszak show for today, Thursday, September 4th, 2014, and I am your host, Paul-Gregory Matuszak. Yeah, changed my inflection a little bit this morning for the intro. So hopefully that woke you up with that little bit of a change. Sometimes change is good. It's called growth. Get you out of that comfort zone and get you onto positive movement. Of course, sometimes, folks, change is just change. And there is such thing as change for the worse. So remember, way back in 2008 when you heard about all that hope and change? Well, you hoped that the change that they were talking about was growth. What it turned out to be was more, the type of growth that you would call a cancer, I guess. Because, I don't know about from where you're sitting, but from where I'm sitting, things ain't gotten any better. In some ways, they're about the same, and in some ways, they're worse. And if you look at the economic conditions and everything, the number of jobs that we lost in 2008 and 2009, if this is really a recovery, all those jobs would have come back without a decrease in the labor participation rate. So tomorrow, folks, we should be seeing the newest BLS unemployment numbers. That's BLS as in Bureau of Labor Statistics. So just a little promo for tomorrow. We're probably going to have a little something to talk about with that. But actually, guys, folks, from where I'm sitting, things are a little bit better because where I was in 2008 was not the same place I live now. And where I live now has a much lower unemployment rate. In fact, one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. In one of the states that has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. In fact, the state that for the last several years has produced anywhere from 20 to 50% of the new jobs created that the federal government loves to tout and loud. Anyway, folks, I know I'm kind of talking about topics I want to talk about tomorrow instead of promoting the great stuff we got going for this show. We got plenty of good stuff to go. Before I flap my gums any further, I know many of you are just sitting back and need your daily fix of the powdered zombies. I know I do. So let's listen to Chris Lash and comedian Steven Crowder as they joined together and formed their little band with a couple of other folks in there. And I really need to send a message to Mr. Lash and ask him if he can give me the rest of the credits of the people that were involved in this song, because I'd really love to give shouts out to them instead of just to the two frontmen, so to speak. But without further ado, let's listen to Powdered Zombies and get our day going! Morning! Haha, Mr. America.
Mr. America, look what you've done.
Yeah, looking at the country is not what I intended. Gotta start to make a change before the never-ending story of a failed nation runs straight out of luck. Like $1 million Tyler Perry movies, you suck. All your little have life is still selfish and want more voting in your self-interest now instead of the core principles that made this country both honest and true. Free to speak, worship, pursue of your happiness too. With all the money you fly, you gon' be needing a big freeze. Hate the size of the Fed like Jesus hated the fig tree. As the spending goes up, you gotta borrow some more. Borrowing from the Chinese like, oh my lord. Instead you just tax more, you're increasing the size of the federal government. Yeah, the Georgia surprise, you'll be done like Detroit. Man, no, you ain't coming back. Forget it, I'm out, I'm muzzle loading.
Mr. America, look what you've done. You trade your us up to revolutionary war. High taxes to the throne without a voice of our own. Rule top down from the crime we wanted left alone. Oh, y'all so soft, you're taking it year after year. We were fighting red coats while we're brewing our beer. Now I'm drinking, spitting ciphers through a grill made of wood. That's how it all went down in G-Dub's neighborhood. Packing cannon balls like powder hammers with cock, lock, click, clack. The loss of bastards, the attack, the chicken littles who don't know me, listen, don't let it twist. We kick the A's of the B's for much less than this. So don't deny the historical climbing out of the mud. Follow me, believe this creed, plant the seeds and be free. America, look what you've done. You trade your liberty and sovereignty for lies and promises. Mr. America, don't you run away. You pick up pieces up and face the problems, you'll be great again.
On the woman at 85 when it's really at 12. Hear me, classes in session, you can't be safe by the bell. What happens when you keep printing more dough? Both parties have gone green like their name was Al Gore. Yeah, but right now you're high. Hey, ain't you big hitter? But now I'm back from the dead. I'm bringing back all my knickers.
What, knickers? No, it's okay. I can say knickers because I wear knickers.
Man, you think I say that? What's wrong with you? I'm just talking about my show back then. I rock with my shoe. But let's go back to the first point I was trying to make. The degradation of our freedoms and a country at stake. The government's getting grand while private sector grows smaller. Pour one out for your homies, cause here comes the cold water. Unemployment still rising, our debt's growing still. The only change you're gonna get is being left with the bill.
Mr. America, look what you've done. You trade your liberty and sovereignty for lies and promises. Mr. America, don't you run away. You pick up pieces up and face the problems, you'll be great again. Mr. America, whoa, whoa. Mr. America, whoa, whoa.
Hey, how about that? In case you missed the who you're listening to here, my name is Paul-Gregory Matuszak. Name is, well, depending on what languages, foreign languages you speak, either it's spelled exactly like it's pronounced or nowhere near. Anyway, and this is the Mouth of Matuszak show. That's spelled M-A-T-U-S-Z-A-K. And if you want to call in and talk about things going on, you got something on your mind, you got a bit of news that you think people need to hear about, you have your own 2 cents to throw in on a topic. Just keep it clean, folks. Keep it respectful. Keep it factual. Well, you can have your opinion, but have some facts to back it up. Then go ahead and give me a call. I'll put you on the air. The number here is 520-226-8567. All right, let's say that a little bit more seriously, folks. The number here is 520-226-8567. All right, so what do we got going on today? What's going on in the world? What's going on with our government? I wonder, let's take a little look-see, tickle through the hot sheets and see what we can find.
You don't have a right to know everything in a separation of powers government, my friend. That is the difference between a parliamentary government and a separation of powers government.
Well, the U.S. Department of Justice is launching a investigation of the Ferguson City Police Department, looking for corruption within their ranks. Isn't that interesting? The feds are going to get involved in a local issue. Dum, 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 dum. Yeah. It just completely bypassing state and county and going straight to federal level there. Isn't that interesting, folks? Of course, it's because this whole thing must have been racially motivated because one of those involved, i.e. the victim, was of a certain invented demographic that has been collectively labeled as a race by the collectivists, determined solely upon the amount of pigmentation in somebody's skin. Isn't that interesting? I don't know, folks. Last I checked, our race, our species, was all listed out as Homo sapiens. Human. But that's just me, I guess. I guess maybe the military, indoctrinated me and made me think of things wrong. Because I see everybody as human. Actually, I see everybody as military or not military. And within the military, I see people as actual, ground force type people, Marines and Army, versus not. Your Navy and Air Force, minus a couple of select special groups within them. And then, within the ground forces, I see two different groups there. I see combat arms, combat support, who isn't exactly combat arms, but can go out and do some of the same things, or a lot of times is right there with them when that stuff's going down. You're talking about your combat medics and other groups. And then you have your combat service support, which are the people that stay forever in the rear with the gear, and when they have to drive supplies forward or whatever, they're messing themselves the whole way, afraid that something's going to happen, when chances are those who are combat support and combat arms have made their way fairly safe in comparison. But anyway, I kind of digress into the military mentality. But the military must have taught me wrong, because they kind of raised me and altered my views, where I see everybody as human. And then within the military, I see everybody as either green or not green. And I don't mean, okay, you're green, which means you're Army or Marine, or you're not green, meaning you're Navy or Spare Force, Chair Farce. But, sorry, if I insulted anybody within the Air Force, there is completely tongue-in-cheek, brother and sister, brother and brother, cousin and cousin type teasing. No, I see people as military, not military, or just flat out human. Even now that I'm retired, I don't even necessarily see people as military, not military. Although, after serving for so long in the service, it's really easy to pick out people who spent some time in the military, especially if they did their full form and maybe a couple more, and then got out. They just carry themselves a little bit differently, especially those who are combat arms or who are Marines or spent a lot of time trunching out around with the combat arms folks. But anyway, I'm getting way off topic here. Department of Justice is getting involved in investigating the Ferguson City Police. And it's probably because so much evidence has come up that shows that maybe, just maybe, the officer who was involved might have not done anything wrong, may have been in the right. And God forbid that the facts point to something other than the narrative that a certain segment of society who needs racism in order to keep people scared into voting for them just can't have the facts come forward. Oh well. Sorry. You're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. Facts are facts are facts are facts. So that's kind of something that's going on the federal level. Now, I did say I was not going to talk about Ferguson more. I'm not. I'm talking about the generality of the Federal Department of Justice getting involved in a local affair. And that really oversteps their bounds. It could very easily be considered a violation of the 10th Amendment. I think so. But then there's the question of so much of the violence. In the case of Ferguson, so many of those coming in and instigating the violence came from another state. They came from Illinois, in the Chicago area, according to some reports. But, whatever. So many other things going on there. Of course, we've got Ditzy Debbie Hand-puppet Wassermann-Schultz poodle hair. Guys, folks, if you think I'm insulting her and you think that I'm being kind of racist in my statement because of her chosen hairstyle, I'm not. I'm going to tell you flat out. I know plenty of people with similar ethnic lineage as her who have much better hair. Do you need one? Do you need an example, folks? Goldie Hawn! Or do you want another? Natalie Portman. Both of them have better hair than Wassermann-Schultz. So, no, it's not some kind of an ethnic slam. It's the fact that she's just ugly on the inside and out. Because, folks, I don't know about you, but I'm attracted to some level of intelligence. Come on. I'm married to a free-range Texan. She has a graduate's degree, and we're not talking some kind of a basket-weaving graduate degree either. She has has one that took a lot of work, and including a little bit of extra work, in order to qualify for certain certifications. I'm not going to get into exactly what she does, although I'll probably mention it in a future time. But she ain't dumb. She's far from it. So when I say I find Wassermann-Schultz ugly inside and out, I mean it. And it probably starts from the inside. Because she is S-T-U-P-I-D dumb. Seriously. And her latest one is she's trying to, I don't know why the hell she's getting involved in political races outside of her state. Anyway, it's none of her damn business. I don't know why she's getting involved in the Wisconsin gubernatorial race when she's from Florida. Honey, stay with your own state. Do your job. Getting involved with Wisconsin means you're not doing your job. You're too busy doing other people's jobs. It's not even your job to do. It's not, not even necessarily somebody else's job to do. You're not minding your own business. You're sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. So Wassermann-Schultz is now claiming that Scott Walker is basically she's using an analogy of domestic violence against Scott Walker, trying to get him defeated as he runs for his re-election. So yeah, there you go. And the story's over at BuzzPo. War on Women. Wassermann-Schultz uses domestic violence analogy against Scott Walker. Go ahead and take a look at the article and see the full thing.